But yeah, only 3 drivers have won a Grand Prix this year. Max, of course, Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez, and it does tie the lowest total in a single year of Formula One. Sometimes you just got to stand back and say, yeah, well done. Take a bow. Consistency, excellence, domination. You had it from the start and never, ever let go.
It's what you call thermal degradation on those tyres. And parks it perfectly.
Just like you going down the supermarket.
That was, yeah, no, let's see. Once you get a Formula One car pivoting like that, especially a good one,
it's been perfection from Max and the team.
And this is what we talk about in this sport, you know, and as I said in the intro, we look back sometimes on these era of dominance and say, you know, that really was amazing. We look back at Michael and Ferrari and say that was a really special time in Formula One history.
But Piastri with that last point in the race, meaning it's a level
line
and just missing out on the place too. Well, the Elvis suit for Max Verstappen, who I'm sure will...
Martin esta temporada, el primero desde el Gran Premio de Holanda, su experiencia, su talento y su magia. Al final...
Dopadlo velmi dobře pro něj a nakonec to, že na otázku Jensena Buttona, jak vlastně, jaká byla, co vlastně, jak vnímá ten start a tu první zatáčku, tak říkal, že to vnímá.
In a single season, he scored 454 last...
Another win for Max Verstappen, becoming the first driver ever to win 3 times in the same country in a single season. He'll be able to do that if he wins in Las Vegas. And on the evidence of that car, well, perhaps the pack are closed.
He's just so confident in, I think, in everything around him. And it's not just...
His lead over Lewis Hamilton, because Lewis, of course, didn't score in the race. Work it out now, 119 points.
Joe crashed into the barriers, red flag, Checo into the pits, biffed the wall, took damage, then a speeding penalty. Alonso...
Who would bet against a perfect 10 in Monza next time out? It's a day of record breaking as well. Fernando Alonso, 7,300.
And the number of wins you've had this year, that 10 wins in a row record that you've got now as well. Can you almost even believe how strong it's been this year?
I think no.
Come back to Mexico, where we had a red flag at the halfway point of the race, effectively creating 2 races. Both the start and the restart, though, were dominated by this man, and he recorded a 16th win.
Here to quickly celebrate, and yeah, that was very...
Well, can you almost even believe how strong it's been this year? Drivers talk about that much. Like, how have you built those relationships with people on the team? We hear your relationship with
the team result.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you,
Christian.
Here in 2013, but it was so comfortable. It really was this evening for the reigning.
The late great Ayrton Senna. And in this Ashes summer, it's Red Bull who raise their bat, celebrating a century of wins. What a memorable moment for the team. Right, next up, it is Austria.
Having taken his second win, fortnight's time, with some work to do.
It's impatient and made all the right calls today on that side of the garage.
There's a lot of trust between the two of them, and that relationship between engineer and driver is so unique. There has to be a bond.
Max Verstappen has won again in Monaco. Face down is Max Verstappen, who looks absolutely...
Got the temperature he wanted, because that lap was phenomenal.
Christian, after such a perfect start to the season in Bahrain, we moved to Saudi Arabia, 1 driver on pole, 1 quite far down the grid today. The same thing.
Out of the bag. I think I could see from that onboard there a little bit that through the chicane he maybe carried a little bit too much speed in initially, then was not in an ideal position for the second part of the chicane.
And so the exit of the second part of the chicane, he hit it that fine that he's tapped the wall on the right-hand side.
Very mixed up grid, and it's Ted Kravitz with his quali book.
touch with the leaders, so that's what took any chance away of a victory for him today. But his recovery was outstanding.
Max's clever use of the DRS at turn 3. Checo took him a while to...
Okay. You changed the transmissions in both of your cars. Checo got a new transmission and Max had a new transmission today. Is that related? Because we did hear Max...
Commentator and a very good commentator.
On TV, I was referring to producer Joe. Wonderful to hear from our top 3. I could stand here and talk about this afternoon all night. But...
A Ferrari mam wrażenie, że jeszcze też trochę nad niezawodnością musi popracować, ale do tego pewnie też jeszcze sobie dzisiaj przejdzie.
Believable form, and the answer coming in here still is can any
driver's doing an amazing job, very consistent. The pit crew doing.
It's a sure thing, Max Verstappen.
Third driver to...
No, for sure. And I had some friends ask me before the race, who would you... Yeah, I mean, he has so many fans over here. It's the Orange Army is definitely here in full force. So
a point of dislodging Fernando Alonso from that top 3.
Yeah, I mean the competition behind.
Got sprint race later on in the day, so it's all going to depend on the conditions. We haven't really seen
Grand Prix in 2021. It's as comfortable as your favourite old pair of slippers for Max Verstappen today, although I'm sure slightly hotter in the cockpit.
You need sometimes a bit of luck in your career as well to be able to win so much. And
Verstappen at 50.
It was biblical out there, no doubt.
Over the limit occasionally, but they just were trying.
Lovely that. For the first time in F1 history, it's 10 wins. Max Verstappen ends his point streak to victory for Max Verstappen from 9th on. The last person to do that was...
More difficult to control or easier to control than if it's a Ferrari or an Aston Martin.
Much easier to race.